So, arthropods are lungless. Well, so are almost all animals. This is really looking at it from the point of view of a vertebrate, of a land vertebrate at that. We're the ones with lungs, Look at you. You have no lungs. You're weird. And you have no backbone. You're weird. That's the kind of way we're actually looking at it here, and not really in the kind of a way that biologists are supposed to think of these things. But let's go back to that little drawing of the basic arthropod build here. So like that. Well, so in one way of looking at it, in one way of thinking, you might say, well, hey, you little creepy crawly, you, oh yeah, we're not much different, really. We're kind of the same. We have a lot in common. If you look at it, I mean, okay, you have antennas. I have no antennas, but you have eyes. I have eyes. You have a brain. See that blue dot there? That's the brain. I have a brain. Most animals don't, actually. You might not have known. We have that in common. They're in blue, and that blue line there's their nervous system, and that yellow line, that's their digestive tract. Well, we have that in common with all animals, some sort of a inside, a gut, let's call it, because all animals, must eat to live. But hey, we have a mouth and a butthole. Me too. I have a mouth and a butthole, and we have that in common. Some animals only have one hole for both. A lot of animals, really. And another thing, in red, you have that's the heart. The heart, and you have a heart. I have a heart, and then blood as well. Well, some kind of blood. Most arthropods have very different blood. It'd be a different color. It's really quite different, but they have a heart that pumps the oxygen around. It's just that they don't have the lungs. That's the thing. Right. Well, so interestingly, there are some arthropods that even have red blood, hemoglobin, iron-based blood, red blood, just like us. Now, this is really something. I mean, because this is a drastically different animal, completely different phylum, not even close. But some of them even have red blood that's like what we have. So that was developed, that evolved independently. See, that's an example of convergent evolution, this actual red blood. Well, most of them don't have red blood, but anyway. So think about it that way, maybe. We have more in common between us than a lot of animals. Right. Well, so let's move on then, because like I was saying, there are so many different kinds of these things that, well, it's mind-boggling. So let's just break it down, and we can think of the different kinds in sort of broad categories and get a broad notion of what all there is out there for arthropods alive today. Well, at the top we have trilobites. Oh, they all died out. So biologists like those because they fossilize so well. We find fossils of them, just fossils galore of these things, and they got really big in the water. But moving on then, how about myriapods? Well, that means basically lots and lots of legs, like thousands or something. Well, they don't have that many, but might have even over 100 legs, just dozens and dozens of legs. And also you see we have some other categories here, the cheloceretes, I have trouble pronouncing it, crustaceans, and hexapods. Well, hexa means 6, so 6 feet, mostly insects there. All right. Well, so that's not every kind of arthropod, but that's almost all of them. alive today. Plus, I threw trilobites in for good measure. Yeah, they lasted a really long time, actually. Anyway, so let's move on to trilobites then. As you can see, that they're kind of in three parts: a middle part, and a left part, and a right part. So that's why they call them trilobites. And well, notice that here's another thing. You've got the Zhuao De Qing, right? The bilateral symmetry. Hey, we have that in common too with arthropods. Hey, we got a lot in common. Yeah. Well, these were kings of the ocean at one point, but they all died off. That was about what, a quarter of a billion years ago.